Hello everyone, this is Money Mom. Welcome to the channel. Today I want to chat with you guys about 11 grocery tips saving tips that I actually use. Let's get started and talk about it. Some of these I haven't even really mentioned before. Some I have, but they're good reminders. The first tip, number one, ask for a discount. I mean, I know that many of us feel like we have to pay retail price for a lot of things, but there are some items that might be close to out of date, or maybe the box might be banged up. Why not ask for a discount? The worst thing they can do is say no, but at least ask, so that way you can save some money on some items that you might like to try or items you already buy. I ask for discounts all the time. Sometimes I get yeses, sometimes I get nos, and that's okay, but I did at least ask. Number two, this one has really been saving me money recently because I want to stay under my budget. Don't know what I'll do for 2025 with my grocery budget, but I really like challenging myself a little bit because, you know, it's easy to say, oh, all the prices on groceries are going up, so I need to increase my budget. But it feels good trying to not increase your budget to see if you can actually manage it on the same amount of money that you've spent over the last several years, even with inflation. And that's what I've been doing. So number two is if something's not an immediate need, I've been putting it off. For example, one thing, and I'm not really running low, I just like to have a second one as a backup, is cocoa powder. Well, I didn't want to go over my grocery budget, so I thought, you know what? Am I using cocoa powder this week for any of my recipes? No. I've already got some at home, so it's not an immediate need. So I'll put off what I call things that I think I'd like to get, but are not essential for meal planning. Number three, this one really saves me a lot of money, and I didn't realize how much. Primarily, I shop at Aldi. The only issue with Aldi, and I love Aldi, is that you cannot purchase everything there. For example, they didn't have cocoa powder. I guess it's a seasonal item. Who would think that cocoa powder would be a seasonal item? There's other things sometimes that you can't always get. I wanted some French fried onions. Those are also a seasonal item. Canned pumpkin. You get the idea. So sometimes I'll have to pick that up at another store unless it's something I can do without. But I shop at a smaller store, which is Aldi. When I go to a store that's bigger with more choices, I tend to spend more money. If you went to a store and you don't have that many choices, you're going to spend less because there's not that many things to buy. And it actually really saves money. So what I'm thinking of doing is maybe once every other month going to a bigger store. So that's kind of what I'm doing now. Number four, I do buy drinks occasionally, but I buy less drinks than I used to, and that saves money. Number five, I've mentioned this in a past video, I'm buying less expensive cuts of meat, and every now and then I'll buy a roast or a salmon or a steak, but it's very, very rare. Okay, number six, I'm open to trying new brands. I'm willing to try a brand that costs less money to see what it tastes like. Some, you know, I'm not brand specific like maybe many folks are. I remember my mother used to be very brand specific. She only wanted certain brands of things. Okay, the next one, we have gotten into a big habit doing this, and boy am I glad. We always take our calculator. I don't use my phone. I just usually have my husband with me. He uses a calculator. That helps us because then we know if we can put items back, which brings me to the next item. At the end of the grocery haul, I'm like, okay, how much does this all add up to with tax? And is there anything that's not an immediate item that I need right now? And is there anything we can put back? I always put back one or two things that are not immediate needs, and that also saves us. Another thing, number nine, I make a lot of Minnesota hot dishes and casseroles and portion our meals out, and I also like to figure out how much is the cost per meal. The last meal I made was $1.25 per meal, and that included the side dish. So using the rice and the pasta does help. I don't always do that, but that does help. Okay, another thing I'm going to start doing, and I haven't added this one, is try to, at the beginning of the month, not spend as much. And this is in a 4-week month. Then that last week, maybe I'll have extra money so that maybe I could stockpile if I wanted to. So in other words, leave some money for stockpiling on items you go through faster. Example, canned pumpkin is something I use a lot. Okay, another thing is, and this is the last but not least, omit ingredients in recipes. So, you know, a lot of times we think we need all these different spices. We don't really. Sometimes just salt and pepper, garlic, salt, onion powder, things like that. We don't have to buy all sorts of fancy ingredients. We can use a substitute. For example, I couldn't find buttermilk. I made my own with milk. That's an example. So that really saves a lot of money. Those are 11 grocery saving tips I use. What is your number one grocery saving tip? Please mention it in the comments below. That's all I have to say. Love you, appreciate you, and I sure hope to see you for tomorrow morning's video. Bye-bye now.